Hello, my name is Nitya Kumar, and today I will be discussing wearing medical masks during this global pandemic. Now, I understand how scary this time can be. My father has a 45% lung capacity. He is at high risk for potentially not surviving this pandemic, so I understand your fears. But it is so hard to protect ourselves from pathogens we can't see. There are certain preventive measures, and there is a heavy debate regarding one preventive measure, wearing medical masks. I urge all of you to think about wearing medical masks as a debate with pros and cons. Both the World Health Organization and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have repeatedly said that ordinary citizens do not need to wear medical masks unless they are sick and coughing. My argument is that citizens who are healthy, not healthcare professionals, and not taking care of sick individuals should not buy medical masks. If they have unopened medical masks, they should donate them to hospitals and clinics. Instead, we should wear cloth face coverings. This is my stance because medical masks do not protect people as much as they believe, and because healthcare workers need masks a lot more and should be prioritized. In this speech, I will be discussing the current pandemic situation in the United States in order to establish a need for action. I will then offer my own solution. By the end of the argument, I hope that you can visualize the future results with me and understand that I also just want this situation to be over. Now I will go into detail about why we need to act. Medical masks are not as preventive as people think. There are two categories of medical masks, N95 masks and surgical masks. Here's a CDC infographic named Understanding the Difference that compares the two. Surgical masks are used to protect others from your respiratory droplets, while N95 respiratory masks are used to protect the wearer from airborne particles. Even though it seems like these medical masks are useful during this global pandemic, these medical masks are not meant for the general public, and they are being used incorrectly. N95 respirators are being misused the most. In the CDC infographic, it states that N95 masks must be fitted and sealed by a healthcare certified professional in order to be used properly. According to the 2010 article Protecting Healthcare Workers from Pandemic Influenza, N95 or surgical masks published in the journal Critical Care Medicine. Fit testing of N95 masks came to prominence during SARS and is a method to assess whether mask seal has been achieved to minimize mask leakage. In this article, the authors discussed that fit testing started because without fit testing, particles that were up to 0.3 micrometers big were still able to enter the nasopharynx, or the upper region of the throat that is placed right behind the nasal cavity. COVID-19 particles, however, are on average 0.12 micrometers in diameter, according to Dr. Gregory Poland, a Mayo Clinic COVID-19 expert. This indicates that people who use N95 respirators without getting it fitted are not even being protected from most airborne particles of the virus. Not only are N95 masks being used incorrectly, they're being used dangerously. In 2017, the National Environment Agency of Singapore answered questions such as, what are the effects of wearing an N95 mask? Their response was that the mask is so tightly fitted that it causes increased resistance to breathing and a reduction in the volume of air breathed. Many people who are at risk and buying N95 masks are people with respiratory issues, and they don't realize that using this mask will give them breathing problems. Surgical masks are also used incorrectly. Let's go back to the CDC infographic. Whenever someone who is wearing a surgical mask inhales, there is leakage that occurs around the edge of the mask, so people who are wearing surgical masks still cannot be close to others. This rule is broken quite often. Also, people don't keep their masks on right. In the World Health Organization infographic, How to Wear a Medical Mask Safely, the organization outlines the do's and don'ts for wearing surgical masks. They are not supposed to touch the front part of the mask, and most importantly, they are not supposed to move the mask around. But this doesn't happen. I see people who have surgical masks on, but due to the discomfort of the material or the confidence that they are not infected, they pull their masks down under their noses or sometimes under their chin. They only pull up their mask if they see someone is approaching, but what they don't realize is that their masks are now contaminated. The already limited supply of medical masks are being wasted, and the people who genuinely need them are not getting them. There is a shortage of medical masks in the healthcare industry. According to the World Health Organization March 2020 news release, Shortage of Personal Protective Equipment Endangering Health Workers Worldwide, the response teams need an estimated 89 million medical masks every month to contain and fight against the virus. Additionally, 40% of manufacturing will have to increase in order to meet the global needs. Even if each doctor in the United States had an N95 mask and a surgical mask for themselves, the supply would not be enough. Although there are ways to decontaminate masks, the mask material become degraded. In a research article named Assessment of N95 Respiratory Decontamination and Reuse for SARS-CoV-2, Dr. Vincent Munster and his colleagues at the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases found that even when decontamination was possible, the mask quality only lasted for 2 to 3 days, so doctors still need a lot of masks. The general public should stop buying medical masks and should donate the ones they have. As a collective, we should instead wear cloth face masks. There are many benefits of homemade face masks. Cloth masks can be made from materials that are in unlimited supply, so you can make them without the risk of running out. Although medical masks provide more protection on paper, cloth masks may actually have more of a protective impact. If everyone begins to wear cloth masks, the transmission rate will reduce drastically, because layered cloth masks do keep most germs inside the material. Plus, clothing masks are more comfortable than medical masks, so people won't take them off and play with them. Let's go over the guidelines for making cloth face masks. CDC released this really useful fact sheet infographic named Use of Cloth Face Coverings to Help Slow the Spread of COVID-19. It gives the basic criteria for cloth face masks. It said that it should be snug around your face, have ties and ear loops, include multiple layers of fabric, be breathable, and be able to be washed and dried with a machine. The fact sheet also gives instructions on how to make these face masks, and they're actually really easy. If we withhold from buying medical masks, donate unopened medical masks, and wear cloth masks, the results will be incredible. Healthcare workers will finally have enough masks to do their jobs without the fear of getting infected or infecting others. If all the other people wear cloth masks, the rate of transmission will decrease because people will still be protected. There are not enough medical masks for the people who direly need it. The general public should donate their unopened medical masks and stop buying more medical masks. Instead, we should opt for cloth masks. We need to come together as a country and contribute to the decline in the pandemic rates of infected and dead, and this is how we should do it.